You don't have a people problem, you have an influence problem. And the moment you stop asking, do people treat me well? And start asking, do I truly treat people well? Your entire life can begin to change. Most people spend years chasing success without realizing that empathy is often the invisible force behind every lasting opportunity. The power of kindness is so underestimated that many mistake it for weakness. Yet the people who leave the deepest mark on others rarely dominate a room. They make everyone else feel seen. But there's one principle hidden beneath that simple idea. And until you understand it, you'll keep wondering why some people naturally attract trust, loyalty, and respect, while others, equally talented, remain overlooked. That is exactly what How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie uncovers. Not through manipulation or charm, but by revealing a truth about human nature that most of us ignore every single day. And the final principle we'll explore explains why genuine influence has almost nothing to do with convincing people, and everything to do with how they feel in your presence. The uncomfortable reality is that almost every relationship reflects a habit we rarely question. Careers rise because of it. Friendships survive because of it. Families heal because of it. Businesses grow because of it. Yet it is often sacrificed for the urge to be right, to be noticed, or to prove a point. If that hidden habit changes, conversations change. When conversations change, relationships change. And when relationships change, opportunities begin appearing where there were once only closed doors. The surprising part is that this transformation doesn't begin with a dramatic action. It begins with something so ordinary that most people overlook it every day. The human need, almost everyone overlooks. The fastest way to lose influence is to make every conversation about yourself. Every person carries an invisible desire that shapes almost every interaction, the need to feel significant. It doesn't matter whether someone is wealthy or struggling, confident or insecure, outgoing or reserved. Beneath every personality lies the quiet hope of being respected, understood, and valued. The problem is that most people enter conversations focused on what they want to say instead of what the other person longs to feel. That single mistake creates more distance than most realize. People often believe relationships are built through intelligence, charisma, or persuasive arguments. Those qualities can attract attention for a moment, but they rarely create lasting trust. Genuine connection begins when someone feels that their thoughts, experiences, and emotions matter in your presence. Notice how naturally people gravitate toward those who remember their names, ask thoughtful questions, and show sincere curiosity without rushing to tell their own stories. These gestures appear small, yet they communicate something profoundly human. You matter. That message has far greater emotional power than trying to impress anyone with achievements or opinions. This is also why many highly capable professionals never become influential leaders. Technical ability earns respect for competence, but emotional awareness earns trust. And trust is what people follow when they have a choice. There is a practical challenge hidden here. During your next conversation, resist the impulse to prepare your next response while the other person is speaking. Instead, become genuinely interested in understanding what they are trying to communicate. That subtle shift changes not only what you hear, but also how others remember the interaction long after it ends. But this is only the surface of the principle. There is an even more powerful behavior that transforms ordinary conversations into unforgettable ones, and almost nobody practices it consistently. The invisible power of listening and genuine interest. The rarest gift you can give someone is your complete attention. Most people believe they are good listeners. In reality, they are simply waiting for their turn to speak. Their eyes remain on the other person, but their mind is busy preparing a response, defending an opinion, or searching for a story that brings the spotlight back to themselves. The difference seems subtle, yet it completely changes how others experience the conversation. When someone feels genuinely heard, something remarkable happens. Their defenses begin to disappear. They become more open, more cooperative, and far more willing to trust. Influence starts long before persuasion. It starts the moment another person realizes they don't need to compete for your attention. This principle can be seen in the lives of exceptional leaders, negotiators, and diplomats. Former South African President Nelson Mandela became known not only for his courage, but also for his extraordinary ability to listen before speaking. Those who met him frequently described feeling as though they were the most important person in the room. That wasn't an accident or a performance. It was a disciplined habit of giving people something they rarely received elsewhere: genuine presence. This changes everyday life in ways that are easy to overlook. A manager who listens carefully discovers problems before they become crises. A parent who listens without immediate judgment builds lasting trust with a child. A friend who asks one thoughtful follow-up question often creates a deeper connection than someone who offers the perfect advice. The challenge, however, is that genuine interest cannot be faked for long. People are surprisingly good at sensing whether your questions are sincere or simply a strategy to become more likable. Real curiosity leaves a different emotional footprint because it comes without hidden agendas. Yet even this principle has limits. There is a mistake that destroys relationships faster than poor listening, and most people commit it believing they are doing the right thing. Once you recognize it, you'll never look at disagreements the same way again. Why being right can cost you everything. Winning an argument is often the fastest way to lose a person. This is where the entire perspective begins to shift. Most people assume conflicts are solved by presenting stronger facts, sharper logic, or undeniable evidence. Yet human beings rarely change their minds because they were cornered. More often, they protect their pride. The moment someone feels attacked, the conversation stops being about truth and starts becoming about self-defense. That is why criticism so often produces the opposite of its intended result. Instead of inspiring change, it creates resistance. Instead of encouraging reflection, it awakens the instinct to justify, explain, and fight back. Even when the facts are correct, the emotional experience of being diminished can outweigh the value of the message itself. History offers countless examples of this principle, but one of the clearest appears in Abraham Lincoln's leadership. Early in his career, he wrote harsh public letters criticizing those he disagreed with. After realizing how deeply resentment could poison relationships, he changed his approach. As president during one of the most divided periods in American history, he became known for exercising remarkable restraint before condemning others. He understood that humiliation rarely creates cooperation, while dignity often opens the door to it. That lesson reaches far beyond politics. A marriage slowly weakens when every disagreement becomes a contest to determine who is right. A workplace loses creativity when employees fear being embarrassed for making mistakes. Friendships fade when every conversation turns into a debate rather than an attempt to understand. The practical alternative is surprisingly difficult. Before correcting someone, ask yourself a different question. Do I want to win this moment or improve this relationship? That single pause changes the direction of countless conversations. It replaces the instinct to defeat with the desire to connect. Ironically, people become far more receptive to your ideas when they never feel forced to accept them. But the deepest insight is still ahead. Listening creates trust, and avoiding unnecessary conflict protects it. The next principle reveals how truly influential people transform that trust into something even more powerful. Without manipulation, pressure, or authority, kindness is not weakness. It is a form of power. The people who change lives rarely begin by changing minds. Many assume kindness is simply good manners. In reality, it is one of the most effective ways to influence human behavior because it satisfies something far deeper than logic. Every sincere compliment, every moment of respect, every act of appreciation communicates a message that people never forget. I see your value. Once that message is received, resistance begins to fade and cooperation becomes natural instead of forced. This explains why recognition is so powerful. Most people spend years believing their efforts go unnoticed. A colleague who hears genuine appreciation often becomes more committed. A child who is praised for character rather than perfection develops confidence instead of dependence on approval. Even strangers tend to mirror the emotional tone they receive. Kindness creates a cycle that quietly returns to the person who started it. The key word, however, is genuine. Empty flattery is quickly exposed because it seeks a reward. Authentic appreciation expects nothing in return. That difference is what separates manipulation from influence. One tries to control people. The other inspires them to willingly move closer. This principle also changes the way opportunities appear. Careers are often shaped by reputation long before talent is fully recognized. People recommend those they trust. They collaborate with those who make difficult situations easier. They remember those who leave every interaction a little better than they found it. In many cases, the opportunity itself is not created by skill alone, but by the emotional experience others associate with your presence. Here is where almost everyone underestimates the long-term effect. A single conversation may seem insignificant, yet hundreds of conversations, each marked by respect and sincere interest, gradually build a reputation that opens doors no resume or title ever could. And that leads to the final discovery. If kindness builds trust and trust creates influence, what ultimately makes someone unforgettable? The answer has less to do with what people think about you than with what they discover about themselves when they are with you. Become the person people never forget. The greatest influence you will ever have is the way people feel after leaving your presence. By now, a pattern has emerged. People don't remember every word you say. They rarely remember every piece of advice you give, but they almost always remember how they felt when they were with you. Whether they felt respected or dismissed, encouraged or judged, understood or ignored, those emotions become the invisible signature you leave behind in every relationship. This is the transformation that separates temporary popularity from lasting influence. Chasing admiration keeps the focus on yourself. Creating value for others quietly shifts the focus outward. Ironically, that is when respect begins to return naturally. The less energy spent trying to appear important, the more meaningful your presence becomes. Look closely at the people whose relationships seem to flourish wherever they go. They are not necessarily the funniest, the richest, or the most charismatic. More often, they possess a quiet consistency. They celebrate other people's successes without envy. They admit mistakes without defensiveness. They make others feel safe enough to speak honestly. Over time, these habits create something that cannot be purchased or demanded: genuine trust. This is also where the question from the beginning finally becomes personal. Success is rarely limited by intelligence alone. Many opportunities disappear long before talent has a chance to shine, because relationships quietly close the door first. Every interaction is shaping a reputation, and every reputation is shaping a future that most people don't even realize they are building. So before asking whether people appreciate you enough, ask a more powerful question. How do people feel after spending time with me? The answer reveals far more about your future than any resume, title, or achievement ever could. The final piece brings everything together. Because once you understand why empathy changes lives, you'll also understand why influence has never been about changing others first. It has always begun by changing yourself. The question that opened this journey was never really about whether people treat you well. It was whether you consistently make others feel valued. That single shift changes everything. The hidden principle we left unresolved is now clear. Lasting influence is not built through pressure, status, intelligence, or perfect arguments. It grows from a series of ordinary moments that most people dismiss. Listening without interrupting. Appreciating without expecting something in return. Disagreeing without humiliating. and showing genuine interest without making every conversation about yourself. These actions may seem too simple to transform a life. Yet relationships are never shaped by one dramatic event. They are built through repeated emotional experiences. Every interaction either strengthens trust or quietly weakens it. Over months and years, those small moments determine who people choose to follow, recommend, forgive, remember, and stand beside when it matters most. Perhaps the greatest lesson is that kindness is not the opposite of strength. It is one of its highest forms. It requires self-control instead of impulse, curiosity instead of ego, and confidence instead of the constant need to prove yourself right. That is why genuine empathy creates an influence that force can never sustain. The next conversation you have is more important than it seems. It is another opportunity to leave someone feeling respected, understood, and genuinely important. If that becomes a habit rather than an exception, your relationships begin to change. As your relationships change, new opportunities appear. And as those opportunities grow, so does the life you are capable of building. Real influence has never been about getting more people to notice you.